Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk. Today on the docket, Patrick Frazee case update. Second on the docket, a dumb criminal of the week. And we can certainly help his t-shirt design. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk, and today on the docket, number one, the Patrick Frazee trial. Patrick Frazee is accused of killing his girlfriend and mother of his child, Kelsey Barrett, who disappeared. Now, this is a young woman. She was a flight instructor. She met Mr. Frazee. She was trying to get involved in their life, but apparently they had issues and just all kinds of stuff that's kind of coming out. We knew about some of these issues. Obviously, they had issues. But voir dire started last Monday. They seated a jury. Friday, they began opening statements, and pretty much what everybody expected. Frazee did it, and the defense said, no, he didn't. You can't prove anything and find my client not guilty. So the first witness the prosecution called was the mother of Kelsey Barrett. Her name is Cheryl. Cheryl called Patrick Frazee and to see if he had spoken with Kelsey. According to Cheryl, that Patrick seemed very disinterested, not really concerned in any way, which also drew greater suspicion from Cheryl. Cheryl testified when she spoke to Patrick Frazee on December 2nd that he stated to her that Kelsey wanted her own space and that they had basically broken up. Cheryl seemed surprised because she hadn't learned this from her daughter. Now, obviously, this is all kinds of summaries. I'm not sitting in the courtroom, although I wish I could be. So there's a lot of hearsay statements that are coming in, and a lot of speculation as to what is being said. And I'm not sure why the defense is not objecting to the mother or other witnesses today speculating on what Kelsey did or didn't do. Cheryl also testified that she and her son, Kelsey Barrett's brother, flew to Colorado on December 3rd and couldn't see any obvious clues relating to Kelsey's disappearance. They didn't notice anything that particularly seemed out of place or out of the ordinary. And Cheryl also testified that when she walked through the apartment, that if there was photos of Kelsey and Patrick Frazee, that she actually turned those down in the apartment. So it wasn't, in fact, anyone else that had done that. On cross-examination, the defense attorneys were able to get from Kelsey's mother that she had information withheld from Kelsey. Obviously, the indication was that maybe mom wasn't told everything in this particular case. And it also came out that Patrick Frazee's mother did not get along well with Kelsey Barrett either. Kelsey Barrett's brother, Clint Barrett, testified as well that when he flew to Colorado, they went to the house, and it wasn't until the following day that they went back. He used the restroom, and that's when he noticed blood on the underneath the toilet bowl. And that moment is when they called the police, and ultimately the police told them to leave the house, and that's when they began searching the residence. He also testified to the fact that he had spoken with Kelsey. There were some plans for Thanksgiving that were changed and for the holidays for Christmas, and she hadn't communicated with him. He became a little concerned that she was upset for canceling the plans. He then became more concerned when he hadn't heard from her at all. He also stated that when they went back into the apartment, they noticed that her clothes were strung about. There were cinnamon rolls still on the stove, a candle that had burned, etc. Just things that looked out of place, or obviously looked like she was leaving rather quickly. The prosecution also called a neighbor of Kelsey Barrett, a woman by the name of Angela Gerber, who testified that she wasn't home during the time that it's alleged that Miss Barrett disappeared, but She basically said that she had seen Miss Barrett, had actually given her a baby guard so the baby wouldn't be able to go downstairs or steps, and that she never heard the baby cry. It was apparently a very well-behaved baby, and didn't see anything unusual during the time. She also stated that Patrick Frazee was around, usually during the weekends, but nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that seemed too suspicious. The prosecution also brought in some witnesses related to the video showing Patrick Frazee at the Safeway store on the date of the disappearance, and was simply a witness to lay the foundation. When they have a video or something of that nature, you have to bring in a witness that can authenticate that video to show that it was recorded properly, it hasn't been altered, how the system is maintained, and basically just general questions so you know where it came from. You just don't submit a video. You don't have an officer just bring it in. You have to bring in the people that actually own it to do that, and that's why that witness was there. Now, the prosecution brought in a gentleman by the name of Raymond Sebring, and he is a pilot that worked at Voss Aviation. He worked with Kelsey Barrett, where she was a flight instructor. And he noted that, this was, if she took time off, there'd be a request using paid time off. Nothing unusual. Now, I'm not sure how it got to this level of speculation, but apparently he was speculating that he thought it was very unusual because Kelsey Barrett always used little emojis in her text messages, and on the time where he received text messages from her stating that she could not show up for work, but she'll call after the 4th or something of that nature, December 4th, that those text messages didn't have emojis either. And, that's, I guess the prosecution is trying to say that obviously these texts were written by somebody else, and therefore that shows suspicion, and obviously Mr. Frazee must have been the one that committed the foul play. Kind of a stretch there, but, it's the kind of thing, if all we've got is emojis, that's all we're working with, I hope there's a little bit more forthcoming. The prosecution then called several police officers who were originally called to do the welfare check to speak with Patrick Frazee. Once again, first time in the apartment, didn't notice anything unusual other than perhaps the cinnamon rolls that were still there. Patrick Frazee seemed very calm and nonchalant and not concerned about Kelsey Barrett in any way. And that can be, what do you expect? They've obviously had a tumultuous relationship. They're breaking up. Yes, they have a child together, but, a lot of people have exes. They could care less about them. Does that necessarily imply guilt? Maybe. It depends on how these witnesses are coming across, and it really depends on the more information to come at this particular time. And you have to remember, in a trial, there usually is not some knockout punch. It's one witness. It's kind of like tennis if you had to. You get a point here, maybe the defense scores a little point on cross-examination, but usually not a whole lot of aces. And I haven't seen any aces from what we've been able to learn about this case so far. A woman by the name of Patricia Key was called to the stand. She works at a bank where Patrick Frazee banked, and she thought it was suspicious that he was coming in trying to establish a timeline because he said there was a dispute, basically a child custody dispute. She provided the video showing him at the bank teller, and that she became suspicious because she thought it was weird that Mr. Frazee didn't want any more information other than this video showing him at the ATM. And so that's where we are really with day 2, so to speak, really about day and a half of the Patrick Frazee case. The next witness is going to be an agent that was trying to get into testimony related to the cell phone of Patrick Frazee. That will continue tomorrow. Understand, the prosecution has to set the stage. Oftentimes people think that you have to just go in and say, oh, somebody's missing. They were a live human. Now they're not. They're deceased. So we've established that element. But you have to kind of lay the foundation, lay the picture of what things happened, but it has to be relevant. And for relevant, it has to be able to go whether it goes to prove or disprove a material element of the offense. Oftentimes, clients think that they need to retry the total relationship of a couple if there's some sort of domestic dispute. Not the case. Only if it's relevant and it goes to prove or disprove the elements of the crime charged here. Now, here the judge is allowing them some leeway, allowing a little bit of speculation as to what text and emojis meant. But usually that's not for the witness to opine about. He can simply say, I normally receive an emoji, and that's it. I didn't on these particular day, and leave it at that. That has to be saved for a closing argument. But they have to lay this overall foundation of give people a picture of what's going on, but they are not given endless time. I've actually seen judges say, you've got 3 days to present your case, go. And so you really have to focus on what is important here. Another thing that can happen is a prosecutor can overtry a case, okay? You need to keep it simple as a prosecutor. Keep it simple. That's what prosecutors need to do. I literally have had cases, if they called one witness on an assault case I had once, where if they'd stuck with that witness that said, my client was the one that did it, they kept calling in more and more witnesses. And by the end of it, even the prosecutor didn't know what happened in that case. So the more witnesses the prosecution calls, the more likely somebody can say something that opens up a door, maybe brings up a question that the prosecutor can't answer. And so you just never know. Keep it simple. Looks like the prosecutor's trying to do that, but you don't need to call the mom and the brother, other than if you're trying to look for sympathy, because both witnesses became emotional on the stand. If you can do one witness that some people would call for two, keep it simple. Call just one. It's better to have one jump up and down witness who's going to be great and fabulous for you than two mediocres, or one great and one mediocre. So it's just something you consider. All right. Next on the docket, we have our dumb criminal of the week. Now, he still appears to be unidentified. Now, our unidentified dumb criminal of the week contestant is accused of breaking into the Twin City coin laundromat. He's accused of stealing 15 pounds of change and damaging a coin dispenser totaling about $1,300 in damages. Now, the reason why this guy is getting some notoriety is the shirt that he has on. The shirt says it's not a crime unless you get caught. And so obviously people are thinking that's funny, so let's help everybody find this assailant. Now, yes, okay, I get it. That's funny, haha. It's only a crime unless you get caught. No. It's only a crime if they can prove it. So this gentleman needs to get his T-shirts revamped and revised so that it states reality under the law. You're only guilty if they can prove it. All right. Thanks for watching. If you like our channel, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button on the video if you like it as well. And will you please leave us a comment? Let me know. What do you think? Do you think the prosecutor has hit that ace just yet in the Patrick Frazee case? As of right now, I would say no. The big key is going to become when Nurse Crystal Lee Kenny testifies, which I would anticipate would be probably tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll see how it goes. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Crime Talk.